Hey y'all, it's Elisha and welcome back to Elisha's Crafty Hoplop. It is Saturday, y'all, and this is being filmed in real time. It's not pre-recorded, which means I'm sitting up, I'm chatting, I managed to watch some videos today. As y'all saw, I commented. It means I'm adjusting to the nausea. I am slowly adjusting to the nausea. So thank y'all for being so patient. I will eventually catch up on videos. I will eventually catch up on comments. Now, y'all, we just got warned by Con Ed that we are likely to lose power. And so that means myself, Lanny, anyone in Brooklyn, we've been warned we're likely to lose power for either today or tomorrow. And the reason for that is we have a strain on the system from all the air conditioning because of the heat wave. So if nothing uploads in the next couple of days, that is why, y'all. It's not that something's wrong with me or I got worse with my nausea. It's that we lost power. So I just want to give you a heads up. If I'm not commenting, if I'm not watching videos, it's not because I'm not feeling well. In fact, today I watched more videos than I have in the last 48 hours. It really is a power outage. So just a heads up. You guys, I'm sure, saw Tami Green's video, and you probably now understand why I couldn't clearly express to you what was going on with her. That was for Tami to tell y'all. Plus, you know, Tami did such a great job simplifying what's going on with her. She made it understandable, which is not easy to do, y'all. As someone who takes more than 20 medicines several times a day, my kidneys too are constantly at risk of being damaged, and scleroderma already has a renal involvement. So what Tami's going through is something that is very near and dear to my own illness, something I understand all too well, unfortunately. That's why I've been waiting to get over the nausea so I can actually call her. I might be one of the few people that actually understands this from a medical perspective, just because I'm at risk of it all the time, y'all. Basically, you know, what Tami's suffering with is a cause of her medication. It's not a cause of her disease, it's a cause of her medication. I have my two medicines that I need the most, including my immunosuppressants. Now here's the irony, are you ready? My cytotoxin immunosuppressant, which is a form of chemo, also causes lymphoma cancer. Now, how weird is that and ironic? And I take a second medicine that also causes cancer, also lymphoma. So every time I get a nodule, which is often because that's also part of my disease, they always, or a node somewhere like on my thyroids, I have got tons of nodes on my thyroids, they have to on my thyroid, they have to go and biopsy them. In an ordinary person, they would probably just check them to make sure they weren't what they call hot. But I have to constantly be biopsied. And the reason for that is my two medicines cause lymphoma. And on top of that, I have a family history of lymphoma. So it puts me at very high risk for getting it. This is what happens when you're chronically sick, y'all. Your medicine ends up causing other diseases and other life-threatening complications. And I thought, Tami, you did such a great job. I cried. I did. Because you're so brave. I didn't cry because I was sad. I mean, I am sad. No question. Because I get it. But I cried because you were so brave. So, you know, I just want to be upfront with you. It's, you know, very hard to do what Tami did. To tell you all that bluntly, her best chance of survival at this point is a donor. You know, it's funny. Those of us that would offer you a kidney, like myself, if we were a match, you wouldn't want our kidneys because they're just as badly damaged. That's the problem. That's the problem. So I'm really hoping someone in your family is a match. That was super smart of you. Super smart. Y'all, this is the realities of living with illness and medicine. While the medicine helps one thing, it damages another. And our kidneys are constantly at risk. People were saying to me all the time, don't you worry about the amount of Diet Coke and coffee you drink? And I laugh it off because I don't know how to explain to them that the medicine that I take is so much more dangerous and damaging than anything I could put in my own body. I can tell you that right now. What I digest daily to keep myself going is way more dangerous than anything I could put in it myself. So it's not a form of self-abuse, the Diet Coke and coffee. It's a way to keep going, y'all. I could either take more medicine or drink the coffee. And the coffee is actually the more organic way of doing it. Even though I know it's unhealthy for ordinary people, those of us living with different conditions, sometimes we have to make different choices. I do have a medicine I can take in place of the coffee, but the coffee is actually healthier. So, y'all, I'm going to put Tami's video down below. If you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's a rare thing to hear someone talk about being in a life-threatening condition the way that Tami does it, with so much grace and elegance. And she also better helps you understand what it's like to live with this kind of condition. You know what broke my heart the most, Tami? The dogs. I know I should say your husband, but it's the dogs. I Not having Nush with me during COVID has been really hard, Tami. So like what made me cry for you was losing the dogs at night. But I understand what you mean about the super clean thing. And you have to make it hospital clean. Look, right now I have a pile over there that I was doing for Happy Meal, and I have to clean up today, y'all. Because for the same reason, if I don't disinfect, we're going to have big problems in here. So I have, during this nausea, not been doing as good of a job. And you reminded me today, Tami, I can't afford to do that. Y'all, we have had so many great videos on the last 24 hours, but we have also learned a lot. You know, a lot of people in our community are living with health issues. And as I always say, if you're clear, upfront, transparent, and you're a good communicator, people will understand. And, you know, today we had a video from Michelle Bastian about some of the things she's been living with. And I think that helps people understand. It's hard, y'all. It's hard to be honest about limitations caused by disease. I'm going to say this to you. It's really hard. Sometimes, you know, it hurts our pride. Do you know how many things I want to make? Today, Tami Stampin' Therapy, our other Tami, was like, I got a list of things. Me too. And I told y'all, if I do 25% of my list, I feel like it's a good day. Now, that goes against my type A personality. I want to get 100 plus another 10 done on my list. And the truth is I can't. I can't. And that's hard to admit because it feels like a personal failure. It feels like a weakness. But the strength is learning that it has nothing to do with you. That's the disease. And so you do your best every single day. When you communicate that to other crafters, they tend to be very understanding and supportive. As I was saying for the last 2 weeks, and I kept stressing this to everybody, not communicating is where you come into some trouble. But y'all, I also want you to make a little room in your heart for something. I come on and talk about my illness, which is painful for me to do. You don't see it, but it's painful. My stomach goes like this. I'm sure when Tami made that video, Tami Green, it broke her heart inside too. It's hard for those of us living with an illness. Or when Soleil came on, do you remember that first video she did? Where she came out and she's like, let me talk to you? These are hard videos to make. They take a piece of your soul. They do. You know, these are things you don't even share with your close friends. You know, how do you talk about not being your whole self? It's really difficult. So while I encourage communication because it's key, I also understand how hard it is to do. I don't want you to think I don't. I do think it's character building. I do think it does some good things for us long term. I think it teaches us to be stronger, you know, stiffer backbone kind of people. But I also recognize it's hard. And we have to make some room in our hearts for that. People come to the ability to do it when they can, you know. They do. And just like Southern Scrapbooking and Card said today, once you communicate your limitations, if people don't understand that, that's on them. And I've never run into anybody who doesn't understand it once they get it. You know, Heather and Kayla, when they found out I was going back on my medicine, were like, take all the time you need, girly. If you need months, we don't care. And they mean it, y'all. And if I needed more time this month, my die cut partner would have been fine with it. Susan would have been fine with it. As long as I let them know in advance, they totally would have been fine with it. So I think, you know, it always comes down to just sharing with each other. But like Southern Scrapbooking and Card said today, and if they don't get it, well, that's kind of on them. Crafting is therapeutic, and it's supposed to be fun, y'all. It's supposed to be fun and not stressful. You know, the reason why Alice doesn't do collabs, or the reason my friend Alice doesn't do a lot of challenges, is she doesn't like the feeling of crafting on a deadline. That's what stresses her out. She and I have talked about it many times because she's such a great crafter, and I'm like, why don't you ever participate? And she said, because that's when it stops being fun for me. Like, the second she has a deadline, it does something to her creatively. It stresses her out. None of this is supposed to be stressful. And you know, sometimes when we first start, we take on way too much. I'm still guilty of taking on way too much because I always want to do it. It's just in my nature. It's hard to learn what you can and can't do. And so we've all done that. We've all taken on too much when we shouldn't have. And owning it is always tough to do too. But that's also part of learning here. And you know, in this community, we make room for learning. We make room for growth. And I think that video was very helpful today for a lot of people. If you haven't seen Michelle Bastian's video, go look at it, y'all. It's a good warning too, to think about before you say yes, as Michelle says, before you say yes to things, really ask yourself honestly if you can do it. And I thought it was so eloquently said that way, and that's tough to do, because some of us want to do everything. Some of us want to do everything, but we can't, y'all. We just can't. So yeah, what an amazing, insightful weekend. And then on top of that, we had the last day of our Christmas collab, which was super exciting. Super duper exciting. Such amazing projects. Oh, did you see the mini Christmas crackers? Oh my goodness, I saved that. I'm definitely going to try to make those. I also loved the fold out box. Oh my goodness, so many good projects. If you have not watched those yet, oh, they're a treat, y'all. Make sure you watch them this week. And a big thank you again to Crafty Michelle. You always inspire us to do good things. Always. And you're such a credit to our community. Thank you. Thank you so much again. Y'all, if you're not subscribed to Crafty Michelle, you're really missing out. Not just because I love her art. Put aside my aesthetic preference. She really is an amazing community-oriented person. She did this collab because it's good for the community. And it's good for each of us as makers. Every time someone hosts a collab, y'all, they're doing it to help the community. You know, people say, well, sure, doesn't that help their channel? Not usually. Not usually. But it does help everybody else. And Michelle is very community oriented. So if you're not subscribed to her, for that reason alone, you want to support her. I'll put a link to her channel down below again. But I'm hopeful that many of you on here have already supported her. I know that Soleil did a great VR for her today. And I'm hoping to see more of those VRs going up. Y'all, don't forget that Rosa, Sun and Moon Arts, has a challenge up. And she's our mixed media artist who is always so supportive of us here. And it would be great if we supported back. Plus, it just makes us better makers, y'all, when we're crossing over, right? When we got mixed media, we've got regular crafting, now we've got welding. I mean, we've got blacksmithing with Miss Mackenzie. I mean, we have all these great crossovers. Do you know how much better artists that's going to make us? And now, Kathy's favorite things is bringing in makeup, which, you know what, Heather, are you not excited by that? Again, every time we add a new artistic element, it's going to make us better makers, y'all. So we are so lucky. Yay, Kathy. So many exciting things happening here on YouTube. So many exciting things, y'all. Please don't forget that Rare Root Crafts has a challenge up. She's been going through a hard time, y'all. Being a nurse during COVID, oh my goodness. We have so many nurses on this channel, and I don't always mention you by name. Glam Nurse from Instagram. Want me to keep going? We've got tons on here. Tons. And tons of medical support workers, too. Okay, y'all, right? Susan Allhouse, you want me to keep? I can list. There's tons. Folks, they've been going through the hardest time of their lives. Rare Roo is no exception. And it's been really tough. And right now she has her challenge up. I'm going to be late, but I'm definitely supporting it. I want everyone to get behind her and support this challenge. You know, anyone who's out there fighting on our behalf to keep everyone alive, that alone is worth supporting. But y'all know this. You've seen her crafts. She is a mind-blowingly gifted crafter. And I know that can make it intimidating then to send something into her, right? Because she's so skilled. But that's how we get better, y'all. That's how we get better. We get better by making for people whose work we admire, right? So take the plunge. Support Rare Roo Crafts Challenge, y'all. I'll put a link to that down below, too. All right, y'all. I've been yibber-yabbering for 13 minutes, which is long enough. It was nice spending time with you. I do have a Happy Meal video later today. Until tomorrow's Halloween collab, take real good care of yourselves, and I'll see you real soon. Bye for now.